Recording. Okay. One more recording. Go. All right. We're here. Welcome to another video about BloyMeetsWorld. This was all BloyMeetsWorld, I guess. I am Sean Bloy. I am a new content creator. This is my journey. This is gonna be a video catch up on kind of what I've been doing since I left South Africa. A lot of people have been wondering. I spent a lot of time not kind of responding back to home. Not all of the journey was easy, as you could imagine. And this is kind of how it went about. And at the beginning, we should always start with, please like, share, and subscribe to both the channel, share the video, go and find my other social medias. Things are populated around BloyMeetsWorld now, so you should kind of find pages. Coming up, I'm going to start populating my Reddit pages and Discord, getting those jumping, and really trying to start a community. This is the beginning stages, but like I said in my first video, I have a lot of big plans, and they are going to come to light as the weeks, go on. I have a lot of plans to make a lot of cool content, and I hope to start a business in the Santa Rosa Beach community that is in Walton County, that is valuable, that is of service to the community. And this is the journey that it's going to be. This is me discussing it. Starting with actually just introducing you to myself. I was born in 1994 on the 18th of July. These dates are very important to me. 1994 was the year that my country, South Africa, gained independence, or independence through a free and fair election that included everybody. This is important. I was born on the 18th of July, which is the same birthday as Nelson Mandela. So every year in South Africa, the 18th of July is Nelson Mandela Day. And it's those are significant dates, and that's a significant person to me. So I do hope to at least be a South African representative who can live up to the accomplishments of such a great man and really embody them. So that's one thing about me. I was born into this is filmed on Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day. I did call my mom this morning. I did speak to my family. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. We come from a single mother. Single mother, just myself and my sister. And that's how I grew up. We were a close, tight unit. And they raised me to be the young man I am. Schooling and all that stuff is pretty normal. I went to one primary school, Observatory East. Shout out to everybody who went to Observatory East. A lot of y'all are still my friends. I hope all of y'all are doing well. Then I went to a little private school, ran private. Wasn't my favorite, honestly. School going can either be really good or terrible. So to people who've had experiences going to school where it sucked, where it all sucked, where you hated being in high school, I get it. Only for the 2 years that I was in Rand Private, that's where it sucked. I didn't super fit in. I had fun. I was a bit naughty. I've generally been a good student. I'm not too much of a rule breaker. I'm pretty polite, so I didn't give teachers too much problems. But when I did get into trouble, it was because I was doing some wild shit I should not have fucking been doing. like, when I got called into the teacher's office, police were being called as well. Like it was, I was a really good like student. I was a good kid, but when I got into trouble, it was actually worth fucking something. Yeah, ran private was cool. Shout out Biz Valley, bro. That's about it. Yeah, that was my early. That was 8th and 9th grade. 10th grade. This is where things get quite interesting, because I went to what quickly became a defunct fly-by-night school, and to any of y'all who I've been waiting to tell the story for so fucking long. Oh my god. I actually get to tell the story. Cause fuck, I'm gonna find facts. Like, dude. Okay, so I leave ran private. Now, I'm not a fucking sensible person. So I leave a school and I don't go apply to another school. My mother was raising a responsible young person who she thought would go do that because it was my choice. I was like, I'm leaving the school. I don't want to go back. I'm over this. I don't want to go back to that school. I'd rather go to public school. I want to go to public school. I want to be with my friends. They have normal holiday schedules. I'm just tired of this private school shit. All right. So I don't apply for another school. I think that is like the new year starts. My mother's still checking. Hey, did you apply? I'm like, yeah, I got it. I just need to, send it off. Yeah, I got it. Ugh. So first day of school starts, and my mother's like, hey, little homie, why are you in the house? I was like, I need to go take this application to the school. I knew I wasn't doing that because it was a friend of mine's birthday. So I was just like, that friend of mine's birthday is another day where I got into so much trouble that it is like it's unnecessary. I was a very unnecessary young man. I get into trouble that day, and it delays me a couple of days from going to a new school. But lo and behold, a friend of mine who lived on the road above, I lived in a valley. So my house was at this level, her house is at this level. She was starting in a new school. Good luck. That was, my luck. So she starts at this new school. It's a boarding school. I am actually inclined. I like the idea of going to boarding school. I don't know why. I just needed to be out the house. That's what it was. I wanted to get the fuck out. So I was like, I want to go to boarding school. We sign up. We get in there. I basically sign up the day I arrived at the school. Like I was just one Sunday. They're like, hey, we're coming out. There's a new kid coming into school. He's coming with us. Okay, so I got there and basically signed up. This school is on a farm. This school it's not even like a good farm. It's just out in some blast bush, like country ass, like it's, where the fuck is Randfontein? It's in Randfontein. For anybody the school is called Carroll Shaw Christian School. I should actually go back and Google it to find out what happened to it. But this place was just basically a couple of farmhouses that they converted into school, like a makeshift school. They got a bunch of kids to be overpaying them, and they somehow chewed through all the money. It's money problems all the time. Teachers weren't getting paid. Seniors who were supposed to have exams were not in an accredited school, so they couldn't take certified tests and had to get placed in they had to get placed in they had to get enrolled in another school so that they could take their test under that school's accredit. Some wild, hella fraudy shit was going on there. And then eventually I was like, I'm out. Bounced out at the end of one semester. And then I think the school fell apart after that. I didn't really look back, to be really honest. But what happens next is I end up in Rand Tutorial College. I have a bunch of friends there. And my life goes back to being great. I finish out there strong and move on to working in brand promotion, in-store brand promotion for a company called the Creative Council. That was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I went from being an on-the-ground promoter who would just do normal in-store yogurt promotions. Hey, would you like to sample this, this little yogurt? And it worked out. It was awesome. I was making a little bit of money. It was at a rough time in the family, so I was happy to be a breadwinner. And yeah, that's really what got my working life started. My first job was that was not my first job. My first job was working for my mother at Mnet. My mother nepotismed me a job at Mnet, and shout out to everyone at Mnet. So I reside in Florida currently. It's been a few years since I've been home. We'll kind of track all of these points in time, and I get to make shout outs because I'm making a fucking video. Watch this. Shout out to Mnet. Mnet was where my mother worked for 10 years or something. They were amazing. It was an amazing place to grow up in. So I grew up in media. I grew up in television. My mom toured Africa, going to creating shows, creating content for the African continent. Mnet is one of the largest media distributors in the continent at the time, and especially when I was a kid, Mnet was big shit. Mnet was big shit. Shout out to Carte Blanche and all of the lovely shows that it produced. I worked on The Wild. Now, The Wild didn't run for very long, but that's not The Wild's fault, I guess. But my mother basically nepotismed me into being able to run around with her and be on a set shoot. To my American friends, this means nothing, but I met Shauna and Connie Ferguson on that set. I actually had a little walk-on scene. Unless I go through archive footage of The Wild, which we'll see if I have time to. So I have a walk-on credit somewhere in my life. I will go and redeem it. But yeah, that's the world I grew up in. I grew up in media and television. And then my mom left that right as I finished high school. And that's when Sean really got into gear. I started working at this little, why do people like doing fraud around me? I don't do fraud. People like doing fraud around me. This fucking lady at him. I might clip that out, actually. Fuck, man. Okay. This fucking lady. So, move past. I work at the Creative Council. The Creative Council really brought me out of my shell. I'm a pretty introverted person. My nature now has expanded because, I was brought out of my shell at certain stages. TCC was definitely that one. TCC, I met Sidwell, Simon. Shout out to the OGs, Dee. These are my OG homies that I used to get up to nonsense with. But the work was we were a below the line, and actually they were a full scale marketing company, and I worked in the below the line department where we do like in-store promotions and outdoor activations, big and small. I worked in huge festivals to banking stuff to I got around. I worked for alcohol brands as like a low-level sommelier. I used to go to like restaurants and stores and sample out cognacs and wines. I had a good ass time. I had a good ass time. The after parties. From there, my mother gave me a call one day and was like, "Hey, I know you're doing this creative council thing, but you didn't go to like school. Like you finished school and you didn't go to university. You've always said you wanted to be a chef. Now, we enter how I became a chef. From the time I was 10 years old, I'm not 10 years old. Well, since I was a little kid, I always cooked. Like I always participated in the kitchen. The passion came from the BBC food. Like the primetime BBC food was, we got DSTV in 2004. I was in the 4th grade. Primetime DSTV. Yeah, I was 10. Yeah. Primetime DSTV. This is the greatest era of DSTV. This is when E-Entertainment was lit. E-Entertainment is not the channel it is today. Today, it's this weird celebrity-fueled gossip thing, whatever. It used to be entertainment. Like, wild shit. I got to see that. I got to see early VH1. Like, I got to see media that was current in the United States just because I had access to satellite TV. It makes a lot of sense because I got to see like a lot of American media and in and around real time. So the influences were there. But BBC Food was a very big influence. And I can't tell you, Jamie Oliver, early Jamie Oliver, The Naked Chef was a big one for me. Gary Rhodes, if I'm not mistaken, Gary Rhodes, the chef. Early Nigella Lawson. Nigella Lawson. Do you hear what I'm saying? Nigella Lawson. Early. Nigella Lawson. But yeah, that early 2004 era where BBC Food was just popping, and BBC Prime back then. I think just the BBC. I love British media. I am not British. For everybody that says, "Oh, you sound British," I'm not British. I'm South African. I just sound like this. Oh my word. Yeah. My mother gives me a call and she says, "Hey, are you gonna go to school? Like, what's your plan, bro? Or are you gonna stick with this TCC thing and grow in this company? Because you're doing well, but you don't have a car. And we can get you a car, or I can send you to school." So I should have split up the money somehow and gotten the car and school. Somehow. I did bad math. But my mother, I don't come from like a affluent family. Like my mother worked really hard and could afford certain things, but there was like a real actual ceiling to how far we could go. My mother was just really good at money management, and she held down a family. So at this point, she had saved up a bunch of money, and it was kind of just for me. And she paid all of my tuition in one go. Happy Mother's Day. paid all my tuition in one go, said, hey, don't worry about anything, go to school. So, and mind you, we were broke. Like, this is the part of the story that I didn't clearly say. We were in a bad situation 6-7 months prior. Situation was horrible. A year prior, horrible situation. And, you know, my mom got us out of it. So we... Ooh, wait, let me get my thoughts. So I go to school. I go to a place called Katala Chef's Academy. I don't know if it's still around. I haven't seen what they've been up to, actually. I've been in the States. I'm sorry. I will check back in with my alma mater. That's where I got my accreditation from. But yeah, I went there. I had a great time. I learned some stuff. I realized that I really love this. I really love what I'm doing. I realized I was pretty good at it. I realized I had like my mind was there for it. Like I liked cooking. I loved cooking. So I love the creation part of it. I finished strong. My marks were so good that I got offers. I mean, I'm sure this happens to a lot of people. Like, if you finish a course, like, you get offers. Like, you can now access these things. And one of the things I was able to access was like a trip to the United States. How that went is cool. I went through a series of interviews, hooked up with a place called Sandestin, and I'll tell that full story maybe at a later time. But I worked for a big resort down here for a while. It was a good learning experience, but coming to America opened my eyes to the just things that I needed to learn. It became a learning lesson. It became a learning curve. It became college. At the end of 2017, so the year I came to the States was 2017, and in October I got into trouble and was arrested. So the arrest created a lot of shame because it kind of got in the way of me coming back home, and I was like put in a position. I had to make a decision. I couldn't come home a failure. That's what it was. Now y'all know. I couldn't come home a failure because that's what it would have been. You went to America, you got in trouble, and you come back poor with no money, no nothing. They just send you back. What are we gonna do with you, bro? What are we gonna do with you? So I couldn't afford to hear that. So I was like, I'm gonna stick it out a little longer, and I'm gonna figure it out. Sticking it out a little longer was actually, hindsight is I could have doubled back, but I couldn't perceive that. I couldn't perceive, trying again. I was in it, so I was going to live it out, and nobody could tell me otherwise. A lot of friends were like, hey, are you going to decide what you're going to do? And I'm like, I'm living this out. I'm cooking. I'm traveling. I'm seeing things, getting experience. But like, I did a little bit of big boy boasting in the beginning. And like, I'm not to brag. I kind of was living a cool life. I was living in this bachelor pad with 4 bros. It was on the beach. I was broke as shit, sleeping on a not even a good pull-out couch. Not a good one. A bad one. And just getting it together to like, I was paying probation, so I was broke. I yeah, it was rough, but it was still like part of the experience. I met a lot of people. I made a lot of friends. I learned I could talk to people, and people like actually enjoyed like fucking with me. Like people like being around me. I just pushed through, and honestly, for a good few years, that's what I did. I just pushed through the pain, tried to make success. Success didn't hit. It came with a little bit of depression because I was away from home for a long time. I was away from my tribe for a long time, but that was okay. In hindsight, it's kind of okay. It sucked. I haven't really seen or spoken to a lot of my friends. I will reach out and shout out and like send some love, but yeah, I lost a lot of connection back home, and a lot of this video, like creating these videos and discussing this, is me kind of remaking a connection, and bigger and better, and kind of the way I listen. I'm fucking a lunatic, so I do some lunatic shit sometimes, and yeah, I could just get on the phone and like call everyone and be like, hey, I miss you, but like I'm not a yardie like with the fucking earpiece all the time just on the phone, bro. I'm not that guy. This is a bigger project with the big plan of coming home, and that's how this is gonna evolve. So thank you for staying with this video. Please stay tuned. I have obviously a lot more to share, a lot more to talk about, a lot more fun stories. I will be doing like video calls and connecting with friends, and posting them and catching up and telling stories. This is going to be a fun journey. And again, thank you to everyone, all my friends, family, and loved ones back home. I miss you very much. And yeah, thank you. Follow, like, share, subscribe. I appreciate everyone. Hey.